Welcome to the Book of Light. It was dictated to me in Los Angeles. Is it the truth? Every prophet or preacher or guru tells you this is the truth. I don't say that. You have to decide if that is the truth. Nobody can take away that decision from you. This is the Book of Light. It offers us, first of all, a goal that is beyond the heavens of religion. Let's see. Let's open it. So, it teaches us everything arises and passes away. That's basically the entire teaching of the Book of Light. Everything arises and passes away. Now, if that would be the only truth, then you could say, I arise or I arrive and I pass away and after that's over. This is not the case. The entire universe arises and passes away over and over and over again. This is the teaching of the Book of Light. It unites all religions, sciences, philosophies, teachings, theories, and proves that in now you find the first truth. I was born with lung disease. It's not corona. We talk about that too. But now I'm 76 and I still feel okay. Just, sometimes I must cough. Forgive me, please. The Book of Light teaches that as there is reincarnation for all beings, there is, of course, reincarnation for the entire universe. It arises and passes away. Why? Driven by desire. Trishna, or tanha is the word. So what you see here now in front of you is the state of my desire. Me, the real being, desired to be in a physical form. Dear friends, those who have overcome physical desire, let me put it this way, to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, to touch, to think, they have reached the deathless. Now many of you may object, well then I don't live anymore. I don't see, don't hear, don't think, don't taste, don't touch, don't smell. But you're not dead. You reach the deathless right now. You are attached to everything that is transient, that has to die. And the Book of Light teaches to the extent that you are attached to something, that you cling to it. You suffer when it is taken away from you, and it will be taken away from you. Could be any second. No matter how healthy you are, no matter how weak you are, or sick you are, or diseased you are, it can happen any time. It always reminds me, I was a little bit involved in MMA and fighting, which I did because I wanted to see how strong am I, but my lungs didn't agree. Okay, I sat in Los Angeles at McDonald's with a 24-year-old man who had a physical because in 1 week he wanted to start MMA. And he said to me, now I'm really happy because I can finally fulfill my dream. I'm perfectly healthy, perfectly. I'm strong like 10 men, and I can finally do my MMA. And then his head fell into the soup. He was dead. He was dead. This young, healthy man. This is why I tell you, All religions are perfectly right, although misinterpreted many times and so forth and so on, we know that. But the Book of Light reveals now the essence of all of them. And the essence is that nobody wants really to die. But he doesn't know, or she doesn't know, that they are already immortal. The fact that they are not aware of that is because they identify themselves with fleeting forms that have to arise and pass away. This situation, dear friends, that you can experience the way of the immortal, of the deathless, is by meditating. But I warn, don't jump immediately into soul breath meditation, what we teach here, unless you have also developed in a certain moral way of non-attachment or of lesser attachment. If you remain attached as you are, and you meditate, it could bring you into the insane asylum. So beware of this warning. I will repeat this warning. The Book of Light offers you a level higher than the heavens of religion. These heavens do exist. What all beings want, and most of them agree, we die here, good, but in heaven. In the heavenly world, we will live forever. Jehovah's Witness teach that, and the Bible and the Quran and everything. But the Book of Light comes to you with the shocking news. Even heaven is not eternal. Even there, you experience, though in a maybe less tragical way, the detachment from that to which you are attached, namely a spiritual form. You may say, well, then I reincarnate in heaven over and over again in a spiritual form. Where was the first war? On earth? I don't think so. It was in heaven. The Book of Light does not say, do this, do that, or you go to hell or whatever. It explains all these planes of existence. You decide. And of course, everything has to begin at the beginning. And so we begin with the first page of the Book of Light, the archetypal universe. The question that haunts all scientists, including this unfortunate man, genius, Mr. Hawkins, you know, he was sort of handicapped, who I heard that from an assistant of him, a woman who knew him. He died with the words, there must be something from the beginning, prior to the beginning. That was his great problem, to see, well, everything has a beginning, but as I always say, a 5-year-old could come and say what was before the beginning. And so Hawkins postulated a pre-beginning, which made it only worse. So in order to understand how everything functions, we would have to justify our own thinking that what happens in heaven, the religions teach when you're dead, with your spiritual body, with a spiritual refined body, you enter heavenly world, and there you remain. No. Book of Light teaches no. Because whatever is the shell and not the core, the shell and not the core shall disappear. And in heaven you still have a shell or a husk or a certain refined form, which causes your reincarnation exactly to that state of desire in which you were. Now, in order to understand that and not to come to pre-conclusions, we have to fully understand the teaching of karma and reincarnation, which is so misunderstood. But let's go to that beginning point. So maybe Hawking listened now, and he may rest in peace or return and teach the Book of Life. There is no beginning and no end. I ask you a question. When you go to bed at night and you sleep and you wake up again, are you a different one? Basically, no, it's the same. Same happens with the entire universe. Human being is a miniature cosmos in a maxicosmos. Microcosmos in macrocosmos, so to speak. So then, when you get up in the morning, you continue and you do your things, and it's basically the same who went to bed at night and who lived the day before. This is what happens with the universe. The universe, all beings in the universe withdraw to the source, I call it the source, and they rest. They rest for 340 billion. Excuse me, see, I'm a Lanu. I'm a student, a scholar. This was just dictated to me, and I try to translate from German numbers into English. 311 trillion 40 billion years. This is the time the Book of Light teaches us for one Mahamanvantara, for one period of cosmic manifestation. And during those years, the beings come and go, incarnate, reincarnate, descend on planets, on planetary chains. We will talk about that. But then everything is withdrawn again. And it may have grown a little bit, had become a bit more spiritual. So therefore, what religions teach of their God or gods, that nobody created them, that they were always there. This, the Book of Light, teaches of everything. Everything is pre-existent, uncreated, timeless, eternal, and interacts periodically. Then it experiences a state of awakening. Why? Why does everything leave the source? This is the whole teaching of the Book of Light is in one movement. Look. You see that I'm not returning here. No. Everything leaves the source, falls into material world, arises again, and a little bit higher. All schools and all books in schools and universities would basically have to be rewritten, because they all actually their teaching could remain. They just have to take it because it stands on its head and put it back on its feet. So what happens is, dear friends, all beings leave the source. They left the source about 150 billion years ago. Excuse me, 150 trillion years. I know. In Germany, when we say billion, we actually mean the American trillion. That's why I say it. Yeah? About 150 trillion years ago. Trillion. So, now, 150 trillion years ago, the beings left the source from inside to outside. And here comes the devastating blow to science. They look for the source of the universe out there. They waste their time. The source of the universe. You are smarter, even if you haven't had 1 year of school. You are smarter than those scientists who look for the source outside. Because the source is in you. The source of the entire universe is in all beings. because they come from a central point. Burst into existence. You may call it Big Bang. How do you awake in the morning? Could it be sometimes you sleep and... Or you awake... That's a Big Bang. Every morning you experience the Big Bang. And we speak here about the Book of Light. And I hope, I said to the one who dictated this book to me, to the Macho, I don't want to do it. He said, silence, sit and write. Okay. Now, I write here, dear reader, welcome to a journey through time and space for 311 trillion, 40 billion years, human and cosmic evolution. At reawakening of the universe, the first spirit falls into material world, imprinting, or could say impregnating, the archetypal universe, which is cosmos in embryo, awaiting perfection. Glory to the Book of Light. Dear friends, what I mean, or what the Book of Light means, and which I, as you can see, so imperfectly pass on to you, is that there is an impregnation, which later turned into sexual activity on material level. At the reawakening of the universe, all beings fall into material world. Where does material world come from? You see, all these questions have to be answered correctly. There are three. What religion claims of their gods, that no one created them. The Book of Light teaches of everything. Everything exists always and manifests periodically, interacts. So we have three. We have the source. We call it nirvana, or the nirvanic source. It's just a name which would be explained though. We have all beings. And we have root matter, prime evil matter, primordial matter, mula prakriti. I teach also Sanskrit, and I would suggest to you, get the Book of Light or get the teaching. There are many branch scriptures in English, and you can also study Sanskrit here. Now, in the beginning, I will tell you something that may shock you. This book costs $2,400. I don't make 1 cent with it. Other books that I will show you now cost just a couple of dollars. This, $2,400. I'm not permitted to take any money from my books. Yeah. Maybe I am the only author in the world. I'm not the author, I just dictated to me. But, yeah, the only writer who doesn't take money from his books? No way. This is how much it costs. Every page is sewn by hand by many wonderful ladies and students. Every page, look. Okay, so please don't be shocked when I told you that. I give an example, because the Book of Light teaches, for most adults, it is too late. It's too late. But our kids, our children, they may be ready for the truth, for the deathless, for the correct understanding and distinguishing between that which has to die and that which cannot die because it wasn't created. It is uncreated, timeless, eternal, pre-existing, existing. And therefore we have a little book. Book of Light for children, with illustrations. The reincarnation is explained lovely there. First, one life you were a boy, maybe one time a girl, and so forth and so on. And it shows the responsibility that a kid already has, because it teaches in essence. Whatever you do to yourself. So, if in the schoolyard you hit somebody and take his mobile or whatever, you to rip him off something, and nobody saw it, I speak now to children, and you think, haha, nobody saw it. You saw it. And I showed you in the beginning this. Now, applied to that, we could say, whatever you do returns to you. And that immediately explains the suffering in the entire world. What I mean is, in that moment when you mobbed that girl or boy, you were a perpetrator. You said, I was. Yeah, but you will become a victim. And dear children, look around in the world. See the suffering. You may be happy right now. You're at home with your mom, your dad, wonderful. You have to eat, you have to drink. 25,000 children die every day of hunger. Many people suffer, and you see that they're innocent, they're tortured, they're maimed, they're this and that, here and there. You think God is doing that? They are doing that. They did that. Now you could argue, and we will always come to each argument because we have to respond to it. Well, then they deserve it. It's their karma. When you think this way, you reap the karma of mercilessness. What is the greatest mercy and love that you can give? Teaching. And you see how important it is to remain for a moment to that which drives science crazy, the beginning. It's the wrong definition. There is no beginning. There is a reawakening. And if you call that moment Big Bang, call it what you want. And do you remain 1 month without sleep? Let's exaggerate a bit. No, normally you stand up in the morning and you go to bed at night, right? Normally. So there you go. Universe does the same with everything in it. Which leads us, of course, now that I offered to you that explanation of the Book of Light, that everything exists always as uncreated and manifests periodically, your next question will be, what about God? And we talk about this the next time. Love and light.